Everyone to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for the town of Quispamsis for our Tuesday, November 28th. With that, we'll move on to item 2, approval of agenda. Can I have a motion to approve, please? Mr. Bishop?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Mr. Preston?
I'll second it.
All right, can we vote on that motion, please? That motion's carried unanimously. With that, we'll move on to item 3, disclosures of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of previous minutes. Is there any amendment to the minutes? None being, can I have a motion to approve the previous minutes, please? Brenda?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that, please? Kendall?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? That motion's carried unanimously. With that being, we'll move on to item 5, business arising from previous minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please? You okay?
So move.
Mark's gonna, okay, seconder on that? Brenda?
I'll second that.
Thank you. That being, we have a vote on that, please? Motion's carried unanimously. That being, we'll move on to item 6, unfinished business. None being, we'll move on to item 7, new business. Item 7A, request to rezone 29 Pettingill Road, PID 302-07096. Could the applicant please come up to the podium? State your name, please.
Jeff Morrison.
Oh, wait till you get up here. Okay.
Jeff Morrison.
Okay, Jeff. Jennifer, you want to introduce that item for us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant before you has requested a rezoning of 29 Pettingill Road. In October, Mr. Morrison approached the town and requested a zoning confirmation letter for property at 29 Pettingill and 25. 25 is the parking area that supports the business at 29. The zoning confirmation letter revealed to Mr. Morrison that 25 Pettingill is central commercial and 29 is neighborhood commercial. Now, what happened was at the time the new municipal plan was introduced, there was a blanket rezoning that happened at the lower end of Pettingill. And as a result, number 25 was rezoned to central commercial. However, 25 was rezoned to central commercial. 29 had undergone a rezoning and was subject to a Section 39 development agreement. So when the rezoning happened, it stopped right at that property line because it was already under another agreement. So it was revealed to Mr. Morrison that that this property was in fact neighborhood commercial, and he realized that they were not compliant with the bylaw because of the staffing numbers that they had. And so they have 3 full-time dentists and with 12 to 15 support staff, where a neighborhood commercial only permits 3 support staff. So this is why we are here this evening. The council it's already been introduced to council. They've referred it to PAC for your comments, and I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. You would receive the same package we did in the mail. Anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to members of PAC or the public asking you questions?
No, I guess just that when we learned that one part of the property was zone commercial, you know, it was our mistake. We just, I guess, assumed that it applied to the whole property, and so we didn't sort of think again about it. And it was just recently brought to our attention that it was different. So we're not doing this because we want to make any changes. We're not going to add any people or change the property or anything of any nature. We just want to sort of correct things on paper.
Okay, thank you. Any members of PAC have any questions for the applicant? None. Oh, Brenda?
Not for the applicant, but for Jennifer, are there other properties that have to be in that category too, that needs to be something done with them? Or are they all zoned properly, or like commercial there?
This only came to my attention because of the request for the zoning confirmation letter. So I'm not, I don't know how to answer that question, Brenda. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. We'll find out if somebody else comes back. That's all.
Thank you, Brenda. Is there any further questions from PAC? None being, is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Kendall?
I recommend that the Planning Advisory Committee support council with the rezoning of 29 Pettingill Road, PID 30207096, subject to the following terms and conditions. Number 1, the Section 39 Development Agreement be amended to reflect the change to a central commercial zone.
Thank you, Kendall. Can I have a seconder on that? Brent?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions on the motion? None being, can we have a vote, please? That motion's carried unanimously. That being said, we recommend that we support council in that decision, so that'll go through council, and hopefully at the next council meeting, you'll get an approval for that, and you'll get a letter in the mail with all the confirmation. So best of luck. Thank you. Thank you all for your... You're welcome. That being, we're going to move on to item 7B, Cedar Grove Drive, stop up and close bylaw, request from 65 Cedar Grove Drive, PID 300281138. Mr. Coburn, do you want to introduce us to that item, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the request from 65 Cedar Grove Drive is before council in terms of a stop up and close. The request is to stop up and close a portion of right-of-way that abuts 65 Cedar Grove, as highlighted in the staff report to council. It was brought to light during a sale of the property, going through sort of the due diligence. It was identified that a portion of the property, more specifically an area adjacent to the house, sort of connects to the driveway, was actually encroaching into the street right of way. In order to transfer the land that is being encroached on to the property owner, because it is a right of way, it requires a stop up and close bylaw procedure. Legislatively, the item does not have to come to Planning Advisory Committee. The Local Governance Act, in terms of the process, is not entirely clear. So we have sort of reverted to the previous process that was in the Municipalities Act, and that requires obviously public hearing, going through council, and as just part of our due diligence, because it is a land issue, we felt it prudent to bring it to the Planning Advisory Committee to make them aware of what was happening and if they had any comments regarding the matter. The actual area that's identified as a portion or the street right-of-way for Cedar Grove is actually, if you look at the subdivision plan, it was actually meant to be a temporary turnaround area. When the subdivision plan was created, it was delineated by a solid line. If PAC would recall, newer subdivision plans that have a temporary turnaround area, they're actually just a dashed line which indicates temporary to be released once the street goes forward. In this particular case, because it was a solid line, it was digitized or mapped into the registry as being a part of the street right away, which actually makes it a fixed portion of the right of way, which means we'd have to go up through the stop up and close bylaw procedure. Obviously, Cedar Grove has extended beyond the its limits of this particular property. It's so that wasn't released during that process, so it indicates it as being a full part of the street right of way. From an actual use of the street right of way, the stop and close has no impact on the actual travel portion, and in terms of use by vehicles and pedestrians, there's no potential impact after communicating with engineering department, any potential upgrades to Cedar Grove in terms of, if there's some point we'll look at sidewalks or those types of things, that all of that can fit obviously within the standard 20-meter right of way. So from a planning perspective, there aren't any concerns, and it does address the issue that has been created through this encroachment. It's also noted in my staff report that a small portion of it actually encroaches on the land for public purposes as well. That procedure will be slightly different. The Community Planning Act, through Section 89 of the Community Planning Act, allows for council to dispose of small portions of land for public purposes just through a transfer portion. So that will be enacted under a separate plan. So this particular item before PAC is simply, I guess, twofold. One as an FYI, and then if you have any comments or concerns that you would like to express that could be brought forward through this process. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Dwight. Any members of PAC have any questions for Dwight? Brenda?
Just a quick one. The paved area beside the garage, is that on Quispamsis right away, right now? Because it's like the garage and then a very...
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, so when they backfilled that addition to the garage to the home, obviously the sloping of the backfill sort of led to it being encroaching. It encroaches or extends for a distance of about 5.4 meters. So parcel A, which is identified on the subdivision plan, is the limits extent of what the encroachment is.
Okay.
Yep.
So when the garage was built, they had a proper building permit and everything like that?
The permits were issued by the town, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dwight on that? No motion or anything for that, is there, Dwight? I don't suspect.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the PAC, we would look for a motion that the item has been reviewed by the Planning Advisory Committee and whether they support moving forward with the stop up and close bylaw as presented, I think would be in order.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Any further questions, PAC? Anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time. Anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being. Would a member of PAC like to form a motion for this item, please? Mr. Preston.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that Planning Advisory Committee support council on their decision of enacting a stop up and close bylaw to permanently close a portion of Cedar Grove Drive public street right away near 65 Cedar Grove Drive, PID 300281338.
Thank you. Can we have a second on that, Mr. Bishop?
I'll second that.
Okay, with that being, is it supporting council or supporting staff? Council? Okay, thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? We'll make sure you got it right after. You think you have the motion? Good, okay, perfect, thank you. I'll move on to item 8, information and items or discussion items. Can I have a motion to receive and file, or is there any questions on those items? No questions. Can we have a motion to receive and file, please? Brenda?
Not a question, but a lot of verbiage in that we repeat this and this, it's just like dump everything in there. Growing through it, you kind of like, okay, I saw that 4 times, 10 times, same thing, so that's all. Could be shorter, good not in paper. Sorry.
We have a motion to receive and file, someone, please? Kendall?
I'll put a motion forward to receive and file the information.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder on that, please? Brenda?
I'll do that.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
We have a vote on that? Thank you. That motion's carried unanimously. With that being, we'll move on to item 9, adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Mr. Bishop?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Kendall?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark.